Reunited, and it feels oh so good. The NABJ NAHJ convention is back. What attendees are saying about this year's conference.
Plus, a second chance at life. How Clark County is working to give the homeless a brighter future.
And an 11-year-old journalist taking the sports world by storm. We tell you how she is making her mark. For the first time in 6 years, NABJ NAHJ News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching the NABJ NAHJ Student Newscast. I'm Yao Bonsu.
Happy to be here with you, and I'm Tanya Velasquez. For the first time in 6 years, the NABJ NAHJ convention is back together in person, and organizers are calling it the biggest conference yet. The Joint Convention is a hub for journalists across the world to come together, not only for networking, but for professional development too. And it all starts right now with the opening ceremony.
And we kick things off tonight with NABJ's Brooklyn Joyner, who is live outside the reception hall. Brooklyn, these two organizations haven't had a joint convention since 2016. Tell us, what is the energy like in the building?
The energy in here is crazy. You can hear it. It's so loud. It's been music, dancers, standing ovations, and we were able to talk to some people about how they're feeling about the first day of the convention. Take a look at this.
Good morning. Welcome to NABJ, y'all. Let's get it on.
The 2022 NABJ NAHJ convention is on here in Las Vegas.
This is my first time back at NABJ since the pandemic.
And that's a big deal because for 2 years, everyone you see here had to meet through a computer screen. But now
it feels great. It feels great. There's nothing like this experience and seeing my colleagues again in person. And I'm glad to see the mask and people taking the precautions.
And more people means more new members, like NAHJ's Angelique Reyes. The NYU grad student likes what she sees.
That means we get double the people, double the knowledge, double the culture, just everything coming in together. That actually made me even more excited, made me want to come even more.
This time, though, masks are a must.
I probably wouldn't have attended if not for the vaccine and masking requirements.
I would say we're cautious about the pandemic because it's not over.
And with that caution comes joy.
This is a convention that's about networking. It's about job seeking. It's about fellowshipping.
The fellowship is going to continue all throughout the week. There's going to be guest speakers, panels, and most importantly, their career fair. You know I'm going to be there, so make sure you come out. This is Brooklyn Joyner with NABJ NAHJ News.
Thank you so much, Brooklyn. And for the viewers at home, what you saw in the background there, that is only a fraction of what is more than 5,000 people who are expected to attend this year's convention. That is significantly more than years past, which is why for the first time in NABJ history, on-site registration is not allowed. It's a change that the president, Dorothy Tucker, says comes after staggering attendance.
The last I heard, we had about 4,600 that had cleared already registered. We have another 300 or 400 that are in the process of clearing, which means that they got through the verification process, they made that deadline, and maybe they didn't take that next step, or there was a hiccup, so they didn't take that next step.
This year's convention is all about being together again. However, both organizations are putting a huge emphasis on safety. Our very own Ibarelis Lopez has the story.
And I thought, God, hope this won't happen, but this is a place where two targeted groups are, and that crossed my mind. I quickly forgot about it and thought, I'm going to be safe, and I'm here to have fun and meet people.
Hispanic and Black journalists gather for a convention in Las Vegas. Safety concerns arise, particularly over gun violence. 384 mass shootings have occurred this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. That would make it more than one shooting per day of the year. Recognizing the possible threat, leaders from NAHJ and NABJ have done what they can to ensure attendees' safety.
Modern times, that with a lot of the groups that are out there, that don't like groups like this, we think there's a heightened alert. That's why we do what we do with the security protocols.
Drew Berry, executive director for NABJ, assured both organizations have met with Caesars Palace security on multiple occasions.
So we're pretty confident that we will be, with the protocols that are in place that we can't tell you about, that we're prepared to handle.
I have been safe, and I have been talking with a lot of people, and they feel safe too, and I think it's so important to feel safe in this place.
In an effort to ease convention attendees' concerns, both associations have been sending out push notifications. See something, say something, help keep our convention safe. This is NABJ, NAHJ News. I'm Ivarelis Lopez.
We talked about safety. Now let's talk about getting around Caesars Palace, which can be pretty confusing. So here are some things to keep in mind. Tomorrow, you can pick up your badge inside the Julius Ballroom from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you have trouble finding it, be sure to download the Caesars Palace app. It's a great way to get step-by-step directions to find any exhibit. But that's what's happening indoors. Now let's talk about what's happening outside. Scorching heat still remains in Las Vegas.
Can we beat the heat? Temperatures today nearly reached triple digits. Now let's send it over to Jasmine Franklin to see what's to come.
Yeah, thanks guys. So it's going to continue to be hot, unfortunately. Our current weather outside is going to be 98 degrees right now. Humidity levels are still hot. We can't beat the heat. It's Las Vegas, but we're going to get through it. It's going to be a great convention. Moving on throughout the rest of the state, still the same temperatures right down here in Las Vegas in the Boulder City area. We're sitting at about 103 degrees, so it's going to be hot. We can't beat the heat. Moving on higher up to the state, in Eureka, we're sitting at 90s, but down where we're at for the convention, it's going to be at that triple digits for the rest of the night. And moving on throughout the rest of the state in regards to rain, we don't have any rain that we have to worry about for the convention. Over in Arizona, there is a little bit of rain showers that took place earlier today. Humidity levels are fairly low. We're sitting at about 22% right now, so don't have to bring a rain jacket with you. Actually, you should dress lightly since it's going to be so warm the rest of the week. As for our 9-day forecast, we're going to be going through the weather for the convention this weekend. We're actually going to be sitting at 98 degrees for the rest of the evening, going to a low of 81 degrees. Friday, we're going to be at 96 degrees, partially cloudy for the entire week, actually. So it's going to be sunny skies and dry heat, you guys, for throughout the rest of the weekend. So we have some good weather, no rain to expect. Going on to Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be ending off 98 and 97 degrees, lows in the 80s both of those nights. So if you're going out to party or anything, you don't need to pack a jacket. Actually, you should pack some sunscreen if you're going to be outside during the day because it's going to be pretty warm. Make sure you guys stay hydrated because it's going to be very, very hot. All right, sending it back to you, Yao and Tanya.
Okay. Weather has just now become a big issue because después de 2 años de eventos virtuales debido a la pandemia, miles de periodistas de todo el país llegan hasta Las Vegas, Nevada, para la convención de periodistas. Pero este evento no llega sin preocupaciones, ya que muchos aún están temerosos por las infecciones por COVID. Nuestra reportera Ana Guaracuao nos acompaña en el otro lado del estudio con algunas de las medidas que los organizadores han tomado para mantener a todos seguros. Ana.
Así es, compañeros. Durante todo el día en la conferencia yo también usé una mascarilla. Por cierto, es una de las medidas de seguridad en la convención. También hablé con los asistentes sobre sus temores de salud y lo que están haciendo para mantenerse seguros.
En cuanto al COVID, puedo decir que sí, siento un poco de miedo, pero al mismo tiempo me siento seguro porque ya conozco cómo mantenerme a salvo. Sé que con la mascarilla y con el desinfectante de manos.
Desde la Isla del Encanto, Puerto Rico, Luis Joel llegó hasta Las Vegas para asistir a la conferencia de la Asociación Nacional de Periodistas Hispanos y de Color, y es un momento muy importante para su carrera.
Para mí es un gusto enorme porque yo soy de Puerto Rico, así que hace muchos años que no veo amigos periodistas que viven en Estados Unidos, especialmente latinos.
Así como Luis, más de 4,000 personas en todo el país se dirigen una vez más para reunirse en la conferencia, pero según expertos de salud, aún existen riesgos sobre el COVID-19.
Las infecciones siguen ocurriendo y hay subidas comparado con hace unos meses.
Especialmente en reuniones grandes.
Si están en una convención de este tipo es tomar las precauciones que se puedan, incluyendo mascarillas, las mejores que puedas, lavarse frecuentemente, evitar conglomeraciones si particularmente tienes debilidades, sistema inmunológico en particular.
Yo creo que ya a este punto de la pandemia es la responsabilidad de cada quien, la responsabilidad personal para cuidarse o no cuidarse.
Organizadores de la conferencia también están haciendo cumplir varias medidas de seguridad, como el uso de las mascarillas es obligatorio dentro de la conferencia. Las pruebas de vacunación son requeridas para los asistentes y pruebas rápidas de COVID-19 estarán disponibles para los estudiantes en el evento.
En Nevada, el promedio diario de casos positivos de COVID es más de 700 según los organizadores debido al aumento de casos por COVID. Unos 20 personas ya han cancelado su asistencia en los últimos 3 días, así que a cuidarse y a disfrutar la conferencia.
Sí, gracias. Y si usted requiere de un cubrebocas, sepa que se lo puede pedir a un voluntario de la convención. También puedes obtener una en las zonas de salud y bienestar.
And coming up, yet another virus to worry about. Monkey cases are on the rise in the U.S. Convention goers give their thoughts on the virus.
And Las Vegas recovering from massive flooding. Next, the impact on the convention.
Three, two.
Enjoy the ride.
Welcome to NBCU Academy.
When you challenge the best journalists.
Focus is one of the most important things when it comes to writing and storytelling.
At the best news organization.
Your task is to help people understand what happened.
To educate and train journalists.
What's the truth? What are the facts? What really matters?
And provide access and opportunity to all.
Remembering these basics will help make your piece visually interesting.
Dad, when is the future?
Oh wow. The future is, what's ahead of us?
I don't get it.
Yeah. Maybe this will help. So now, we're in the present. And now, we're in the future.
The all-electric Chevy Bolt EUV with available Super Cruise for hands-free driving.
Dad?
Yeah?
Do fish get thirsty?
Find new answers. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
Cases of monkeypox are rising around the U.S., including right here in Las Vegas Valley.
Vaccines are available, but only if you meet a certain criteria. NABJ's Washington Moore has more on the potential impact on the convention.
From all across the country, thousands of conference attendees arrive for the NABJ-NAHJ convention, but for some, monkeypox is causing second thoughts.
It is very scary. I'm very nervous about getting it during the convention, to be honest.
Former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams says it's important to know how it spreads.
Right now, we know that the majority of cases of monkeypox, over 95%, are being spread in men who have sex with men.
NAHJ mentor Rafael Carranza believes in being proactive, and that's why he got the monkeypox vaccine.
Well, I got the vaccine because I fall into one of the high-risk categories as determined by the public health authorities.
Monkeypox symptoms are similar to coronavirus.
Fatigue, tiredness, you can get headache, you can get a cough or a fever.
But there's a difference.
After you've had those symptoms for 2 to 3 days, many people will develop a rash. In this current outbreak, people are noticing a rash in their genital areas.
His advice? Be aware, but don't panic while you're here.
Certainly, COVID and monkeypox and all these things kind of put a dent into that, but there's no substitution for that face-to-face contact.
For NABJ NAHJ News, I'm Worthington Moore.
That was Worthington Moore reporting. And that was Worthington Moore reporting. This year's NABJ NHJ convention comes days after massive flooding swept through Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's right, Tanya. Let's take a look at the video here. You can see the water leaking through casino ceilings and flooding the streets. Over 16,000 power outages were reported on Fremont Street alone.
At the end of last week, there was some severe weather, as is typical during monsoon season here in Las Vegas. The airport saw some cancellations, saw quite a bit of delays, but the airport remained open, operational, and no flooding occurred on the airfield or inside the airport buildings.
Now, despite the damages, convention officials say the flooding will not impact the convention.
NABJ board members tell us they are excited about being able to meet in person for the first time since the pandemic. They shared chapter updates, discussed conference preparations, and announced a new initiative. In October, the group plans to ask the FCC how more money can be allocated to help Black-owned media companies.
We want to give information to the FCC about how we feel that they can better inform the public about these availabilities. And what went wrong? Why haven't people of color received these monies?
NABJ also offers its own grants up to $10,000 for members, but the group says many go unclaimed. Applications for the grant are available at nabjonline.com. The next board meeting is in October.
New right now, more than 3,700 homeless people in Las Vegas have filed applications for assistance.
And this fall, Clark County is introducing a new program aimed at giving our most vulnerable citizens a boost towards a brighter future.
It's an old Fremont Street motel, giving the homeless a second chance at life.
5,000 and 6,000 people who experience homelessness in our community.
A community now partnering with the U.S. Vets Organization to renovate this old Clark County motel.
And so we were really privileged to be asked by the county to do this program and replicate what we know works in transitional housing, but for a new population. Many of them who've been waiting for housing for long periods of time, sometimes up to 3 years.
3 years, too long for some, as the Betterment community wants to bridge that gap with a place to live and holistic hope for their future.
So we do expect our clients to attend group classes. Some of those classes include how to manage finances, how to work with computers, how to gain employment.
Everybody that comes into this program will have a case manager, will work with employment services, will work with residential assistance.
Doors not open to everyone though, only couples or singles with no children, and pets are also not allowed, except service animals. Formerly homeless veteran Joseph Bishop knows this process all too well. Looking at the work he sees here.
Definitely be a change from what I've been in. So I think it'd be a big help to anybody, that's kind of fallen on hard times for whatever reason.
Reasons that vary from client to client, who will be in studio housing fit for up to 2 people.
We have our kitchenette, we've got a stovetop as well as a refrigerator and a freezer.
In Las Vegas, I'm Yao Bonsu. Coming up, breaking barriers. Next, how one author is putting his own spin on comic books.
All of life, destiny stands asking you to make a choice. Who will you be? I will be great. I will be fearless. I will be a dreamer. I choose to be 100.
Growing up, sickle cell disease wasn't talked about much, and it was about 10 years ago that things started to change. We gained allies dedicated to raising awareness and making progress. As a nurse, a sickle cell disease warrior, a patient advocate, and a mom, I'm inspired by companies like GBT and the advances they've made, who saw the overwhelming need and answered the call.
We're very proud of what we've accomplished, but we know that so much more needs to be done. Significant barriers and disparities in care still exist, not just for the sickle cell community, but for the minority community more broadly.
Trust isn't a given. It has to be earned. It has to be kept. It's a trek we make in the stories we tell and the balance we strike, the communities we connect, voices we share. We've been on this journey for a long time.
Hello, I'm Annika Pergament. You're watching Spectrum News.
We're here to illuminate how the national stories impact your local community.
Fargo's Minority Banking Initiative, our Diverse Homeownership Initiative. Those long-standing commitments demonstrate Wells Fargo's consistency around helping communities of color.
It's so important that we bring people into the formal banking system so that they can be put on a meaningful path towards improving their financial well-being.
It is possible to actually make progress and to create a more inclusive, more diverse company that benefits everybody.
Tanya, when you think about comic books, a lot of superhero titles come to mind. You talk about Superman, Spider-Man, or even Batman.
No, that's usually what I would think about. But one author is putting on a new spin on an art comic book storytelling. Let's kick it over to our very own Nick Hernandez. Live in studio, Nick?
Yes, comic books are in, and it's creating a whole new world for some fans. And this new comic book, which is set in Puerto Rico, is setting a new standard for the industry. And for one family in particular, it's creating a whole new bond like no other. La Borinqueña comic book is transforming the lives of comic book fans. Since debuting in 2016, Jana Rodriguez and her 11-year-old daughter Elena have bonded over the Puerto Rican-focused comic book.
It's good that we can connect with each other, and reading La Borinqueña, it bonds us, and in a way I wish I could have bonded with my mom.
Creator Edgardo Miranda Rodriguez developed the female character to tackle issues in response to a number of humanitarian crises facing Puerto Rico.
This life that I'm living has honestly shaped the narrative that speaks to climate change, feminism, social, economic, political issues.
Over the course of nearly a century, comic book characters like Superman, Batman, Captain America, and even Wonder Woman have emerged to lead a now billion-dollar industry. This makes the presence of La Borinqueña an important layer to the industry.
It's really inspired me, and it's like kind of gave me a little bit of growth and help me find like strength that I can bring out so I can be more confident in what I do.
Edgardo partnered with actress and social activist Rosario Dawson in the latest edition of La Borinqueña. It marks the first time two Afro-Latina women are featured on the cover, and comic book fans believe this surely won't be the last. For NABJ, NAHJ News, I'm Nicholas Hernandez.
Wow, what a story. You want to talk about breaking barriers, though? Coming up, a young prodigy. Next, we introduce you to the 11-year-old journalist taking the sports world by storm.
Thanks to Mr. Craig Newmark for his strong commitment of support to NABJ, community, and country. We appreciate you, Mr. Newmark.
At the E.W. Scripps Company, we are creative and courageous, telling stories with integrity and advancing understanding of the world around us. We're creating the future of our industry, taking opportunities where we find them and creating them where we don't. We're growing our people as we grow our company, seeking the best in ourselves and one another as we improve the lives of those we serve. We help people find their way to trusted journalism. Find your light at Scripps.
She is truly amazing. 11-year-old Pepper Persley is breaking barriers one sideline at a time.
11 years old. It still puts me in shock in a way. Alexis Davis has more on how this kid reporter is scoring big.
When you're young, one may get asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? But at just 11 years old, Pepper Persley seems to already have it figured out.
Pump fake, drive, Leonard to the rim, put it in.
Oh. And one. That is maybe the biggest play this game.
It's amazing, and it's something that I never really would have thought for me at this age, because it's like my long-term goal, like as an adult. And the fact that it's happening now, I think it's something very incredible and something I'm very grateful for, and I'll never take for granted.
Quite a young age for a sideline reporter at professional basketball games. A big job for a little girl.
WNBA players have some cool handshakes. Can you teach me one?
So incredible that at the early age of just 6 years old, Pepper started going to New York Liberty games with her family, where her passions were solidified. And this kid reporter wasted no time jumping into the action. Again, at just 6 years old, Pepper interviewed New York Liberty point guard Sugar Rogers. And let's just say she passed with flying colors in the category of cuteness. In just 5 years' time, she has interviewed some of the biggest names in all of sports.
I had the chance to interview Diana Taurasi, and as someone who'd watched her previously, I have to admit I was a little bit scared and definitely nervous because, you know, she's so intense on the court, and I think the fact that she was so nice to me is something that I'll always remember.
You know, it means a lot. I think it's great that she has connections with so many different people who she looks up to and who are accomplished in different fields. I'm quite grateful for that.
Pepper is already making a big name for herself covering the Las Vegas Aces at Mandalay Bay and the rest of the league. Pepper's main goal is to eventually suit up in a WNBA jersey herself. I'm Alexis Davis in Las Vegas.
Wow, I wish I had been that talented whenever I was her age.
You know what I was doing when I was 11 years old? Worrying about my Lucky Charms and my Nintendo. I didn't come close to her.
No, me neither. But thank you so much for joining us on NABJ NHJ News. I'm Tanya Velasquez.
And I'm Yao Bonsu. Stay safe and have a great night.